Welcome back to Caterpillar Summer as I read Chapter 4. Chapter 4. On the new scale of vacation disasters, the morning had only registered slightly. Chicken cried about missing Rishi's family and the whale sharks at the Georgia Aquarium. It was a sad morning and a quiet car ride. But after lunch, Kat's disappointment had been pushed aside by a squirmy feeling. Last night, she felt shocked that Mom would leave them with grandparents they've never met. On the drive, shock had turned to nervousness. They would be there in a couple hours. She popped open flame hot cheese crackers and handed them to Chicken. Chicken read his shark book while he ate, leaving a trail of orange fingerprints on each page. "Mom," said Kat, "this place is weird." Mom laughed a tiny bit. "What do you mean?" Kat gestured out the window. "Trees, trees, trees. I never knew there were so many shades of green." "Deciduous," said Chicken, eyes still on his book. "It's nice to see trees. We're driving through a forest, you know." Mom sounded amused. "Evergreen," Chicken mumbled. "Trees are fine. Nothing but trees is weird," said Kat. "It's been like this for hours. No houses, no businesses, even that chicken sandwich place at lunch. I couldn't see it from the freeway. For all I know, you're driving us in a big circle." "Highway, not freeway," said Mom. "And that chicken place was one of my 4 major food groups growing up. At that chicken place, that lady asked if you were our mom," said Chicken. He turned a page, not looking up. Mom glanced at Chicken at the rearview mirror. "Yes, she did. I know why it happened," said Chicken. "It's because our skin is different colors." "Yes, baby, that's right. But we're all part of the same family." It was the same line Mom had said Kat could remember. Kat traced a life-size picture of Megalodon tooth. He didn't answer. Kat tried to find a position where the seatbelt wouldn't rub her neck. "Do your parents live in the woods?" "No," said Mom. "They live on an island." "An island?" said Kat. She hadn't pictured that at all. Chicken up, looked up for this. "By the actual ocean with sharks?" Mom smiled. "Yes to both. An actual island and an actual ocean. Gingerbread Island." "Gingerbread Island? Are you serious?" Kat pictured a gumdrop covered house by a sea of frosting. "Not the gingerbread you eat. Gingerbread is the name for the carving and scroll work that decorated the hulls of pirate ships," said Mom. Kat scowled. It was not the time for silliness. "Pirate ships, Mom? Stop." Mom laughed again. "I'm serious. A long time ago, there were pirates everywhere on the North Carolina coast. Your grandfather could tell you the stories." Chicken muttered. "Cookie cutter, blacktip reef, whitetip reef, tiger, lemon, whale, hammerhead, cookie cutter, sharp nose." "You said cookie cutter twice," Kat pointed out. "It's one of my favorites," said Chicken happily. "The cookie cutter shark is a part of the dogfish family and loves warm water. It takes circular bites out of its prey, so it looks like a cookie cutter has been pushed into the other fish all over. It looks like a snack," he chortled. He held up his book, which showed a fish attacked by a cookie cutter shark. The fish was missing neat brown circles of flesh. "I don't think the fish finds it funny," said Kat. "Snarp nose, seven gill, cookie cutter, great white, dwarf, dwarf lantern, nurse, goblin, cookie cutter, basking." Chicken was back in his own world. "Mom, what do you call them?" Kat asked. Her dad's parents were Granny and Pop. names given from Kat's older cousins when they were babies. She definitely couldn't call Mom's parents Granny and Pop. Your grandparents? How about Grandma and Grandpa? It wouldn't be weird to call strangers by grandparents' names. What are their real names? Mom couldn't get the car sun visor right. She muttered under her breath and adjusted it until it clicked. Then louder she said, their names are Macon and Lily Stone. Macon and Lily, Kat repeated. I guess that's better than Mr. and Mrs. Stone. Doctor and Mrs. Stone, said Mom, drumming her fingers on the steering wheel. He was a doctor, a surgeon. A surgeon? Said Kat. She never would have imagined a doctor, not when Mom about passed out every time Cat and Chicken got a skinned knee. What are they like? Mom is sweet. She's excited to see you. Dad won't be around much, I'm sure. The road curved past a field of purple wildflowers. Kat wished Mom would say what she meant. Kat knew nothing about these people, and yet she was supposed to spend weeks there without complaining. What's the deal anyway? Why don't you ever talk about them? Why do why don't you ever talk to them? Kat asked. Mom caught Kat's eyes in the rearview mirror and then looked back at the road quickly. Actually, she said quietly, I do. What? You talk to them? Kat has never heard Mom on the phone with them. I talked to my mom. Her words came out in a rush, like if she said them quickly they would move to another topic. Kat's heart whooshed like a deflating balloon. Anger rushed out and hurt settled in. She couldn't understand it. Mom talked to them, these people she never bothered to tell Cat and Chicken one thing about. She wondered what else she didn't know. Did I meet them when I was a baby? No, Mother answered. Cat waited. Cat turned a page. Then Mom cleared her throat. We had a big argument a long time ago, around the time I finished college. My dad wasn't happy with my plans for my future. Questions sprang into Kat's head. Maybe they'd been mad about Mom moving or unhappy about her marrying Daddy. What does that mean? Mom tapped her fingers on the steering wheel. They thought I was too young to know what I wanted, she said finally, but mostly they couldn't understand that the life I wanted looked so different from theirs. Kat didn't think of Mom as young, but she was 15 whole years younger than Rishi's parents and younger than almost all the parents at her school. Kat didn't know why that would make Mom's parents mad. Chicken looked up from the book. I hope I get to see a shark in our grandparents' ocean. Mom grinned at him in the mirror. I hope you don't. Lots of them, said Chicken. Real ones. Maybe a whale shark. Their discussion continued, covering whether whale sharks lived in that part of the world and whether they swam close to shore or preferred the open sea. Mom tried to circle back to the lesson that seeing sharks up close was a bad idea. She and Chicken had different opinions on this topic. Kat wanted to turn the conversation back to her grandparents, but it was impossible to derail the 100th round of sharks, friends or enemies. She couldn't shake the feeling that Mom was hiding something. Kat couldn't imagine an argument that would split up a family. When it came to Mom or Chicken, Kat could never stay mad for long. What kind of fight would make someone leave their parents and never come back? When they were close to the island, Mom rolled down the windows and breathed in deep. Do you smell it? Kat and Chicken looked at each other. Mom, said Kat, we've smelled ocean air before. We're from San Francisco, remember? Mom shook her head. It's different here, I swear it. Cat and Chicken breathed. It smelled salty. Mom peeked into the back seat and broke into a big smile. Wow, I missed that. A red light flashed up ahead. Cat leaned forward, frowning. Why are we stopping? The swing bridge is about to open, said Mom. Chicken wriggled out of his seatbelt. I want to see. What's a swing bridge? It's like a drawbridge, but instead of opening on the top like a drawbridge does, it swings to the side. Listen, do you hear it? The sound was part roar, part groan. It was loud and it seemed to go on and on. It made the inside of Cat's ears vibrate. Chicken clapped his hands over his ears. Too creaky, Mom, Cat exclaimed. It sounds like it could fall in the ocean at any second. Mom smiled. It's a swing bridge. No need to get your feathers ruffled. Feathers ruffled? Cat and Chicken looked at each other again. Mom's southern expressions usually popped up only when she was really mad. She didn't seem mad now, but maybe the miles of forest, the smell of ocean air, and the creaking bridge were getting to her. After the bridge swung back into place, they crossed to the island. It didn't creak when they drove on it. Below, below the water was wide and blue, and there were different kinds of boats. Is this the ocean? Why aren't there waves? Asked Cat. It's the sound, said Mom. The ocean is on the other side of the island. You'll get a peek right in a minute. Chicken leaned forward in his seat. Where are the sharks? You have a one-track mind. You know that? Cat asked. He looked at her seriously. I do know that, Caterpillar. I like my mind that way. Mom laughed. There are likely sharks in the Sound, Chicken, and also in the ocean, but I hope they keep their distance. They turned from the bridge into the ocean road and past a row of tiny shops in a square. Is this it? Asked Cat. Was that the whole town? Mom smiled to herself. That is most definitely the whole town. The houses were painted in Easter egg colors. They stood on stilts with cars parked beneath them. Cat caught quick glimpses of the ocean, but mostly the houses and dunes blocked the view from the road. After a few blocks, a house that towered over the others came into view. Cat leaned forward in her seat, studying it. The building looked familiar, but how could that be true when Cat had never been to the island? Mom made a sharp right into the driveway. The house was cool gray with white trim and sat against a ridge of dunes. She could hear the waves and the salt smell was strong. The back of the house had a big white wooden staircase that faced the driveway where a Jeep and a station wagon were parked. Cat tilted her head way back to see 4 stories of house, as big as their apartment building. Staircases leading to the decks and porches encircled each level. I know this place, said Chicken. This is Caterpillar and Chicken's house in the Revenge of the Pirate Yetis. Cat blinked. He was right. She read that book so many times and never knew Mom had drawn her own house. She wondered why Mom had never told them. It was like getting left out of a joke. It was the same feeling as everyone having lavender painted nails but her. Mom's smile widened. This is the house I grew up in. They got out of the car and Chicken held Cat's hand. A gleaming wooden sign read, The Stone House. Mom saw Cat looking at the sign. That's been there since I can remember, she said. Everything is exactly the same. A screen door smacked shut and a man and a woman came down the stairs. The woman, Lily, wrapped her arms all the way around Mom. Sweet girl! They looked alike, both tall and bendy. Although Lily's hair was straight silver and Mom's was wavy blonde, Malkin stood to the side, not willowy at all, more like a brick with the corners chopped off. His tan face was wrinkled and rough, and he didn't look like any Dr. Cat ever seen. She couldn't imagine him fitting in one of those white coats. He noticed Cat looking but didn't say anything. He nodded, pushing a faded blue ball cap low on his head. He looked grumpy, the kind of grumpy that could cause someone to leave and never come back. Lily reached for Cat and Chicken, touching their faces. Her hands were cool and smelled of oranges. Her eyes were bright and wet. Catherine and Henry. Chicken pushed his head into Cat's side. Chicken, he said, muffled against her shirt. Welcome, said Lily. She tucked a piece of her hair behind her ear nervously. Cat had to be polite, but she didn't have to act excited. Nice to meet you, Lily. If she was expecting to be called Grandma or something, she didn't let it show. My heart is overflowing, said Lily. Let's go upstairs and settle in. She put her arm around Mom again, and they headed to the stairs. Cat and Chicken were left behind with Macon, I guess. Cat didn't know what to do. Macon cleared his throat. Y'all can help me unload the car. Macon fished something out of his pocket and walked to a small door. He put in a key and pressed a button. We have a small elevator, he explained. We don't use it much except for groceries and for the suitcases of last-minute visitors. He didn't call them his grandchildren. He called them last-minute visitors. He probably wasn't any happier about their visit than Cat was. Cat and Chicken had never seen a house elevator before. It was small but impressive. It managed to fit the three of them along with the luggage. In silence, they rode to the main floor. When the doors opened, Macon pulled the suitcases into a narrow hallway. He locked the door and carefully hung the elevator key on the row of hooks by the refrigerator. Cat thought he would offer to take the suitcases to the bedrooms, but he didn't. He went out the kitchen door and tromped down the stairs. Chicken unpeeled from Cat's side and crossed to the living room window. Cat followed, mostly to keep an eye on Chicken. She'd seen the ocean before, after all, but when she stepped in front of the glass, wow! Her first thought was that she was wrong. The Atlantic Ocean was different from the Pacific. No pretty cliffs or rugged coast, just white sand rolling into green waves that glowed in the sun. At the horizon, the color deepened to a thin rim of blue. Over the edge of the deck, past the sandy dunes with feathery, stalky plants, Cat could see for miles. A squadron of pelicans glided inches above the surface of the water. Except for birds and a few scattered people, the beach was empty. It was as if they belonged, as if it belonged to them alone. Would you like to see your rooms? Lily asked. She glanced at Mom. I thought I'd put Cat in your old room, Amanda. It's the same as you left it. Would you like to come see? Mom looked uncomfortable. I think I'd freshen up after the drive. She disappeared into the first floor bathroom and Cat heard water running. Lily nodded. I think we can manage. They each took a bag upstairs. Lily gestured to a door and Cat stepped inside. She drew in her breath when she saw it. It was beautiful and spacious with walls of the palest gray-green, a wide planked wood floor, a fluffy rug by the bed, Best of all was a window seat tucked in between cubby shelves, bursting with shells, books, and other treasures. The window was enormous and looked out onto the ocean. Cat didn't know where to look. Chicken flung his backpack on the bed. "This is good," he said, as if it were all settled. "I have a guest room right next door that I thought you might like, Chicken," said Lily. "There's a blue quilt in there, and you could see the ocean from that window, too." "Nah," he said, flopping on the bed. "I'm good here." Cat's excitement faded. Of course, we wouldn't want to sleep in a new place without her. "It's okay," she said. "We can share." Lily looked back and forth between Cat and Chicken, like she didn't know what to do. Finally, she turned to Chicken. "Let's unpack your things in the other room, even if you sleep in here. Plus, there's something special in there I want to show you." "All right," said Chicken, "but I'm still going to sleep here." They left, and Cat looked around. She should unpack, but she wanted to treasure the moment of being in the room all by herself. The window seat was welcoming with its squashy pillows. She stared out the window, losing herself in the curling waves. Chicken ran back into the room with a shout. Cat pulled herself away from the view and looked at him closely. "What are you holding?" "I found the special thing," he crowed. "A sea turtle nightlight." "Be careful," Cat said. "You don't want to break it." He frowned deeply. "I just want to show you." She examined the turtle, which was made of milky glass. "It's so pretty and fragile, so be careful." "I know. I'm putting it back." He ran out of the room. Cat unpacked quickly and sat on the soft bed. The quilt was similar to the one they had back home, but the colors on this one was deep blue and coral orange. The bed was stacked with pillows. She took her satin pillowcase and was stuffing it with one of the pillows when Lily popped her head in the doorway. Her forehead wrinkled in worry. "Did I forget to put the pillows in their cases?" She didn't want to explain, but felt she had to. "Cotton pillowcases make my hair too dry, so I use this one instead." The concern cleared from Lily's face. "You're fine. Make yourself at home. It looks so soft. I might have to get one too." They shared a small smile, interrupted only when Chicken bolted back in the room. "Mom says we're going to the beach," he shouted before running off again. Cat wanted to stay in her room to examine the drawings on the wall, to sit in the windowsill some more, but there would be time for that later. When they went downstairs, Chicken was pressing his face to the big window, cupping his hands against the sun. He pointed to a path that stretched in both directions as far as they could see. "Where does that go?" Smudges of orange cracker dust followed where his hands had been. Cat wiped at the glass. She had a feeling she'd been following behind Chicken, erasing the messes he made in this tidy house. "That way goes up to the pier," Lily said. "That way goes back to the shops you probably saw when you drove in." "I want to see," said Chicken. "Let's go, let's go." Mom hesitated. "You'll have to watch him, Mom. He can't swim, and sometimes he takes off running." Lily nodded, already opening the door. "Kick off your shoes first. Sand in your sneakers is no fun, is it, Chicken? Would you like to hold my hand while we go out?" Lily spoke in a way that suggested a big adventure right outside the door. Cat wasn't sure how Chicken would react, but he grabbed Lily's hand like they were old friends. Chicken's hands were both sticky and cracker crumbly, but Lily didn't pull back. Together they trooped toward the door. "Onward," said Lily. Mom followed. Cat glanced to see if Macon had returned, but he wasn't there. She had to admit that Lily was good at talking to Chicken, who didn't usually trust new people right away, but talking was one thing, action was another. Every minute Chicken was on the beach, he would need Cat nearby, ready to react when he needed her. The sand sizzled Cat's feet, but she kept walking. She wanted to cool her feet in the glowing green ocean. Finally, she reached the water. When the wave came, she braced herself for the freezing sensation she knew from the waves at the ocean beach back home. But the cool feeling never came. She looked at her feet in amazement. "It's warm," said Cat. Mom dipped a foot. "Not bad. It'll be even better in a few weeks." Cat looked around. "I can't believe you grew up on an island. It's beautiful, isn't it?" "Ooh." Mom reached down and grabbed something from the sand, pinching it in between her fingers. "Shark tooth." Mom passed it to her. It was shiny black, smaller than Cat's finger nail, and hard like a stone. This came from a shark. Was it? Why is it black? "It's a fossil," Mom answered, "thousands of years old." The tooth rolled in her hand. How strange that it had once been a part of a shark's mouth. One end was rounded where it had met the gum line. The pointed side had a jagged edge for biting. Cat was about to ask about what type of shark it was, but Mom plucked it out of her hand. "I've got to show Chicken," she said. She sprinted the short distance to Chicken, who clung to Lily. "He's afraid of the waves," Lily told Mom as she approached. Mom said, "Honestly, that's probably makes your life easier." She and Lily smiled at each other. Mom bent to show Chicken the tooth. Cat could still feel the shark tooth in her hand. She hadn't been ready to let it go. Cat hugged herself against the breeze. The feeling of being a team with her mom had slipped away since yesterday when Mom announced her plan. And now, even though they stood on the same beach, Cat felt like they were 100 miles apart. From a distance, the ocean seemed peaceful, but up close, the waves smashed the sand. The water made the island more dangerous for Chicken, even more dangerous than busy Clement, Clement Street. After some time on the beach, Mom looked at her watch, and then they walked up to the house. Chicken clutched the shark tooth. When they went inside, Cat looked around the living room. Going up the stairs were pictures of Mom from each grade, frozen in time, from kindergarten with a huge bow on her head to a graduating senior. The pictures stopped there at the top stair, like that girl had vanished, which is a way she had. Lily stood in the kitchen. "What can I get you all to eat?" "I should be going," said Mom. Lily's smile sagged. "Back to Atlanta already? At least let me pack you some snacks and tea to go." Hot tea. Oops, sorry. Let's see. "I should be going," said Mom. Lily's smile sagged. "Back to Atlanta already? At least let me pack you some snacks and tea to go." Hot tea on a summer day sounded terrible, but Lily opened the fridge and pulled out a pitcher. "It's half sweet. How you like it?" "Iced tea would be great," said Mom. "Thanks." "I'll get your dad out of his workshop. He'll want to say goodbye." Lily hurried down the steps to the shed-like building Cat noticed before. Mom turned to Cat for a hug. "Love you bunches." "I'll miss you," Cat said. Mom pulled back. "Me too, but I'll visit next weekend." She didn't want Mom to leave. Didn't want to be left in this house with Chicken and two strangers. "Don't go," she said quietly, but Mom didn't hear her. She had moved on to Chicken. "I love you, little Chicken," said Mom. "Make sure you listen to your grandparents and to Caterpillar. No ocean, he giggled. Mom gave him a look that was all sunbeams. Cat stood to the side. Macon and Lily came back upstairs. Lily hugged Mom, who hugged her back, saying goodbye. Mom scooted away before Macon could say or do anything. Although Cat wasn't sure if he would have, although Cat wasn't sure if he would have anyway. He seemed to be the opposite of Lily, at least where friendliness was concerned. Lily, Cat, and Chicken waved from the side deck as Mom backed up onto Ocean Road. She honked the horn and then drove away. That's that, said Lily. Now let's have some biscuits. Tune in next time as we start part 2, the bad and the good. New things can be scary, but they can be fun, also fun.